These people had one thing in common. They knew they had it in themselves. They knew they could be something beyond where they were. They were willing to put their time and energies to better themselves. What you really could do with more skills is just remarkable. So I would like to just tell you a couple of short stories, and we'll draw maybe a couple of lessons from them. I would like to tell you of two women that each sold a business to Berkshire Hathaway. To me, actually, for many, many, many millions of dollars. Both of them started with $500. By coincidence, it was the exact same amount. It was everything they had in the world. One of them was a woman who landed in Seattle in 1917. She couldn't speak a word of English and had a tag around her neck. The tag said Fort Dodge, Iowa. The Red Cross got her to Fort Dodge, where she was reunited with her husband, who had come to the country a couple of years earlier. She lived in Fort Dodge for 2 years, and as she put it, she felt like a dummy. She couldn't pick up the language. She couldn't learn a word. So she and her husband decided to move to Omaha. They came to Omaha in 1919, and there she found a small colony of Russian Jews. She started feeling more at home. As her oldest daughter went to school, she would come home and this daughter, Frances, would teach her mother the words she'd learned in school that day. This woman, Rose Blumkin, spent 20 years saving money, bringing first her siblings over, then her mother and father, $50 at a time. She sold used clothing to do it. She had 4 children during this period. By 1937, after 20 years, she'd saved $2,500. She went to Chicago and bought what she could of furniture. Her dream had always been to open a furniture store. This woman, who had never gone to school, one day in her life, started her journey with $2,500, but with the same spirit that the people in this room had about having dream and working to accomplish that dream. She built a business, which she sold to me in 1983 for $60 million, approximately, and which did $1.5 billion worth of business last year. The 4th generation is working in that business. This woman, Rose Blumkin, worked for me until she was 103, and then she retired and died the next year, which is a lesson to all of Berkshire's managers. That premature retirement, you can't tell what's going to happen. But Mrs. B, with her $2,500, won further. Fact about her: she could not read or write, and she went into a furniture business. She didn't bring anything unique in furniture, but she brought a determination to succeed. She knew she could outwork anyone else. She knew she cared about her customers. She worked at very low gross margins, but she built this incredible business. And I saw one other woman who did a similar thing with $500. I paid her hundreds of millions of dollars for her business. So I decided to go to the source and get these people before. While I don't want you guys coming around to me asking me for hundreds of millions of dollars, I'd like to join in with you much earlier. So I've followed this group. And today I'd like to tell you about one other small business person. This person, I went to buy his business from him, and he turned me down, which was very wise. But this was a fellow who was born about 8 years before I was. He was born in 1922. We'll call him Jack. He lived in the Midwest. He was a pretty good athlete, didn't like school much, and I'm going to tell you one thing early. In the story, maybe you can figure out who the guy was. The company he built hires more college graduates each year than any other company in the United States. And this fellow, who was destined for this but did not know it, Jack went to college for a year and then dropped out. He really wasn't that interested in school. And the year he dropped out was 1941, when the United States came under attack. He went down to the Army Air Force recruiting station, volunteered, and they turned him down because he had hay fever. So he went over to the Navy and again volunteered, and they took him. They put him on an aircraft carrier. He flew small flight airplanes during World War II. He got 2 distinguished flying crosses from the Navy, and then he came back to the Midwest. So now we've got a young guy, probably by this time he would be 23 or 24 years old. The interesting thing is, he got back to the Midwest and actually went from one job to another for a while. Eventually, he became a used car salesman at a Cadillac dealership in St. Louis, Missouri. At age 35, after moving up in the sales organization, he asked his boss, "Could I go into the car leasing business with you?" The boss agreed on the condition that he cut his salary in half and come up with $2,500, which he borrowed. They became partners in a car leasing company. Jack started his car leasing business at age 35 with 7 cars. Business was slow. To appear busy, he would let the phone ring 3 or 4 times before answering, even though it might be the only call of the day. This first venture was modest, but gave him valuable experience. At age 40, he decided to go into the rental car business with just 17 vehicles, competing against giants like Hertz, Avis, and National, who had hundreds of thousands of cars. His cars were no different, and he couldn't get airport locations, which were locked down by the big players. Yet he aimed to win over customers with friendlier service. He named his company after the USS Enterprise, the aircraft carrier he flew from during the war. When he passed away about a year and a half ago, his rental car company was worth more than Hertz, Avis, and all other rental car companies combined. His name was Jack Taylor, and today his son Andy Taylor runs the business, with the 3rd generation involved and a 4th likely to continue his legacy. Jack Taylor didn't invent new technology or have a groundbreaking idea. He simply focused on delighting customers and working well with people. At age 40, he turned an ordinary business into an extraordinary enterprise by focusing on the customer experience. Jack didn't worry about stock market fluctuations or economic changes he couldn't control. Instead, he focused on the one thing he could influence: how customers felt about his business. He offered exceptional service, ensuring every customer left with a positive experience. I once tried to buy his company for Berkshire Hathaway, but he wisely refused. Since then, the company's value has probably quadrupled. Henry Ford failed twice before founding the Ford Motor Company in 1903. Success isn't about having the best idea the first time, but about learning and growing through experiences. The key is to constantly seek ways to better serve your customers. A successful business is built on delighting customers consistently. Customers remember experiences, not prices. If they feel valued and satisfied, they'll return, and if not, they'll never come back. As you grow your business, it's crucial to inspire the same dedication to customer satisfaction in your employees. This requires treating them fairly and building a positive workplace culture. One of the most important decisions in life is choosing who you associate with, whether in business or personally. Surround yourself with people who inspire you to be better. I've been lucky to have teachers, friends, and a spouse who were better people than I was, and they helped me grow. Life improves when you learn from others and aim to become a better person. In business and in life, align yourself with people who bring out the best in you. These simple principles, delighting customers, building a great team, and choosing the right influences are timeless. Keys to success. They helped Rose Blumkin build $1.5 billion business from just $2,500, and they fueled the growth of enterprise without the need for outside capital. I deeply admire people who work hard while constantly learning and growing. Looking out at all of you, I see ambition and determination. I believe in your potential, and I know the best is yet to come. Thank you.